I grew up in the San Fernando Valley. In the 17 years that I've lived in my apartment complex, I've seen people from all over the world. Russia, Iran, Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala, Nicaragua, China, Korea, Japan, India, Britain, Israel, Palestine, Saudi Arabia, and from multiple states all over the US. They make up part of the valley, but they are not seen when passing through the valley on the way to Vegas. But what you do see are stereotypes of houses, white-collar jobs and office work, strip clubs and shopping malls, and seemingly endless heat. By moving through the different modes of transit in the valley, we see alternative versions of what the valley is. I remember when I was a kid, there used to be these train tracks that ran by the apartment where I lived. A while back they got replaced. They weren't used anymore. They basically became the Orange Line. Now one of the cool things about the Orange Line is they put a bike path right next to it. And I wound up using that bike path a lot. The valley has a heavy driving culture, no doubt about it. If you don't have a car, it's a little bit hard to get around, but it's not impossible. You can use a bike, a bus. Actually, there's a decent amount of bus lines in the valley. My grandma uses these bus lines. She traveled 13 miles in 2 hours to her job of cleaning glassware in a research lab on the west side.
Pues cuando lo miré que lo estaban construyendo al Orange Line, no pensaba que me iba a beneficiar, pero sí, como me queda cerca de mi casa, sí que me benefició. Yo me vine para acá para poderme ir a trabajar, porque trabajaba en el VA. ¿Ve? Y yo para ir al VA, yo me iba en bus y me venía en bus. Me levantaba para tomar café, irme a las 5 y tomar el bus y llegar a mi trabajo a las 7. Y tomo 3 buses para ir a mi trabajo. El 761 llega hasta Westwood y no entra al VA. Entonces yo me tenía que bajar allí para tomar el otro bus que me llevaba al VA, que era un bus de Santa Mónica. Y así llegaba yo a mi trabajo. El sistema de buses es muy bueno, es mentira, pero es bueno porque son bastante puntuales. Es cierto que hay veces que se retrasan, pero casi siempre en la mañana son los más puntuales. Después se pone un poco despacio, pues porque corren cada hora. En la tarde ya como a las 3 empiezan otra vez a correr con un horario más o menos fijo. Es muy bueno.
My friends explore the valley by car. One goes to empty parking lots at night to think. Another tells me about the drives that he's had and what he's found.
I didn't really get my own car. I was kind of just borrowing a car that was shared amongst other family members. I like to explore. It seems interesting to me to learn about all these places exploring. It's more of something that you do on your own. Sometimes I would just go up a street just follow it as far as it would go. It was kind of interesting when I went to the west end of the valley because there was this natural reserve in what I considered suburbia, but it was not anywhere near nature. You wouldn't think it was the valley just by going on that street because it's almost like a country road.
As an edge city, the valley is not a place without history. It is a place of continual motion and continual history. So what happens to the stories of people like my grandma? I've lived in the valley almost my whole life, and in many ways it's the only history I know. Lonely drives on empty roads, long commutes to work, late night walks from the graveyard shift at McDonald's, learning about what Nicaragua was like, and how my family came here. The history of the valley resides in the people who live here. My history has been forged by my family, settled within this place, leaving their homes because they had to. But even though they are far from where they grew up, it doesn't mean that they don't have a history here.